I'm working today with a group of kids from Newham, where I used to teach. We're studying poems from the first cluster of the poems from other cultures and traditions. We'll be looking to bring out the musicality of the poems and to have some kind of experiential approach to it. Both Island Man and Blessing have got a change in metre in them, and they pivot over a central point at which the metre radically changes, and I'll be bringing this out. Can everybody come out away from there and lie on the floor? Oh, yes, oh, yes. Lie on the floor, like you're dead, like you're asleep. Actually, pillow's fine. If you want a pillow, that's cool. I'm going to teach you a series of moves. I'm going to shout something, you're going to do a certain move. When I shout morning, you open your eyes and you stretch and you sit up. OK, so try it together. Morning! Ah, brilliant. Morning. If you look at how me and Brooke did it, morning! That's fantastic, well done. Let's try it again. Try it morning as just a stretch up like that. So morning and wakes up is the sit-up. Sound is hand to the ear. Blue surf. You get up is wave motion with the hand. OK, so we go back down there. Morning, wakes up, sound, blue surf. Great, the next two are, so you're up. Wild seabirds. Wild seabirds. OK, and sun. OK, let's go from the beginning. Go to sleep. Morning. Wakes up, sound, blue surf, wild seabirds, sun. Fantastic, that's really good. The next two are comes back, grey. OK, so I'll do those together. Comes back, grey. Right, and then when I say the word dull, you start walking around. Dull. With your head down, all the way with your head down. Muffling, on the word muffling, bend your knees. And I'm going to say muffling twice. On the second muffling, bend your knees really way down. Until I say the word pillow and you go back to bed. Go back to sleep, please. We're going to go through it all together twice. Here we go. First time, relatively slow. Morning. Wakes up. Sound. Blue surf. Wild seabirds. Sun.
No, you missed that.
No, I didn't. Comes back. Grey. Dull. Muffling. Muffling. Pillow. Heaves. Fantastic. Right, and now we're going to do it to the poem. So you've got the key words to do the action, now we've got the whole of the poem. It's called Island Man for a Caribbean island man in London who still wakes up to the sound of the sea. Morning! An island man wakes up to the sound of blue surf in his head, the steady breaking and wooming, wild seabirds and fishermen pushing out to sea, the sun surfacing defiantly from the east of his small emerald island. He always comes back. Groggily, groggily, comes back to sounds of a grey metallic saw, to surge of wheels, to dull north circular roar. Muffling. Muffling. His crumpled pillow waves. Island man heaves himself. Another London day. Well done. Just sit at your ease. That was really very good indeed. Right, Niall's going to give us his version of Shaggy doing Island Man by Grace Nichols. Right, and I want you to listen and pay the guy respect because he's done a pretty good version of it. But as you're listening to it, think, is this the right way to read this poem? Take it away.
Morning and the island man wake up to the sound of the blue surf in his head and the steady breaking and warming. While seabirds and fishermen pulling out to sea, the sun surfing defiantly from the east of his small emerald island. He always comes back to the sounds of grey metallic roar, to the surge of wheels, to the north circular roar. Muffling his crumpled pillow waves, Island Man heaves himself, another London day.
OK, it's a good reading, it's a good reading. Is it the right reading? Why? You think it is? What's correct or appropriate or good about that reading?
The accent's right.
The accent, it's a Caribbean accent and it's in the voice of a Caribbean guy, definitely. Yes?
The speed's right, because there's, like, no pauses in between. There's no like, punctuation or anything.
Right, so there's no punctuation, and you think the fact that there's no punctuation means that you'd have this staccato rhythm. Morning and island man wakes up to the sound... Well, you're kind of right, really.
It's straight through, you don't stop anywhere, so...
There's no punctuation, but there are gaps. No, he did really well. Take a seat. Can you hold down a beat? Right. What is this that he's doing at the moment? It's a beat. We all know that. We can hear it go, yeah, that's a beat. Can you describe it, though?
Baritone sound with a lot of emphasis.
Right, now we're moving somewhere. It's a what sound?
Baritone.
It's a baritone sound with a lot of emphasis. I would question a lot of emphasis. Does it have any emphasis? Does it stop?
No.
It's a bit like a pulse, like a heartbeat.
You got it. Right, a beat is a regular, repetitive pulse. Okay, it's a regular, repetitive pulse that goes underneath music. Yeah, that's what a beat is. Boom, 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 underneath music. When you have a beat in a poem, and all poems have got beat, it's got a different name. Every single poem ever written has got a beat behind it. You've just got to be able to hear it. And there is a correct and appropriate beat for each poem, and that correct and appropriate beat is called the metre of the poem. And the metre is the pulse, the regular, repetitive pulse under the poem. Get into pairs, please. Name one of you A, the other one B. Right, let's just do the first 11 lines. The first 11 lines, up to groggily, groggily, groggily. With your partner, I want you to sit opposite each other, OK? Knee to knee. Sit opposite your partner, knee to knee. Right, A holds down a very slow beat. Actually, Mark, you may as well just hold down a slow beat for them to... Right, if you just tune into what Mark's doing, it's a very slow beat. You hold it down with A holds it down with a hand clap. B, whenever you fancy taking it away, you read the first part of this poem to A, whenever you like.
Morning, and you get a steady breath.
Steady breath.
Steady breath.
Right, freeze, stop. Where have you got? OK? Now do it without the drums, OK? So is it A holding down a clap? Right, so A holds down a very, very slow beat. B reads the poem to that beat. Right, go.
Pushing out to sea, steady sun, surfacing,
Right, OK, freeze. Where have you got to? Where have you got to? Right, and now swap over. So B does the clapping. We're going from groggily, groggily, and Mark's going to hold down the beat for you, and this is really, really sharp first. So Mark will hold down a quick beat. The one that's clapping is B, and A will now read the second half of the poem as quickly as they can. Go. Freeze. That's good. Now try that again, please, without the drum, but it's quick. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, start, go. Right, okay. What was wrong with the front end?
Too slow.
What would happen if you swapped it over? Well, no, if you swapped it over, so you did the first bit quite quickly. Morning, an island man wakes up to the sound of blue surf in his head, the steady breaking and booming. Would that make more sense?
Yeah.
Why would it make more sense to go like that? Yes.
It's a more upbeat beginning.
Certainly, it's more upbeat. Ramon.
Because when you wake up, you're more alert than when you're going to sleep.
Depends where you wake up. The point of this is, it depends where he's waking up.
He's waking up to a Caribbean thing, but then he realises that he's in London, so he slows down.
So, yeah. So the first half of this poem, he's dreaming that he's waking up in Jamaica or something, and the beat, the meter of the poem is really swift. Morning, an island man wakes up to the sound of blues. Yeah, it's really, really full of passion and joy. Where does it turn? At what point does it go boom? Yes.
He always comes back.
And there's a gap in there. And that gap, what does a gap in a piece of writing actually insinuate to you? A pause. Yeah, there's a pause here. He always comes back, boom. And where does he come back to? Reality, which is where?
London.
Okay. So what happens to the meter of the poem when he realises he's no longer?
It slows down.
Fantastic. The meter of the poem here slows down and it pivots on that gap. This is how, I think it should go. Morning, an island man wakes up to the sound of blue surf in his head, the steady breaking and booming. Wild seabirds and fishermen pushing out to sea. The sun surfacing defiantly from the east of his small emerald island. He always comes back. Groggily, groggily. Comes back to sands of a grey metallic soul, to surge of wheels, to dull nor circular roar. Muffling, muffling. His crumpled pillow waves, island man heaves himself. Another London day. Hear how the meter, the speed, thank you, Alan, the speed behind the poem actually affects the meaning, yeah? The poet has deliberately put the words together in such a way that the front end of it really buzzes and it's really punchy, that it's got a quick meter, a quick tempo. Notice that the whole poem pivots on that gap. He always comes back, boom, pause. And it's in that pause that the meter changes, and when it comes back in, groggily are the first two words, and there's repetition, groggily. Can you go through it and underline the verbs?